What's up, people? Alright, I'm back again with another tutorial. This is gonna be more on loops again, a little bit more harder than the last one. The last one was just a single loop. So this one we're gonna use user inputs just to kind of make it more interactive. So the first thing we want to do here is I just want to let you know we're going to talk more about nested loops, meaning loops inside loops. Fruit Loops. No. Alright, whatever. Just ignore that. I'm losing my mind a little bit. But let's go ahead and let's create our scanner variable. Now you guys should remember this from before. What is a scanner? It's what we're going to use to get the user input from the console. So input equals new scanner, and it's going to be if type system.in. Bang. Easy peasy. Alright. Oh, no, what is installing? Stop it. I clicked something, guys. Help me. Help. Okay, good. It's gone. Alright, so next, we're going to read in, first let's go ahead and let's do system.out.print line. And we're going to print in enter number of rows. Alright. And then we're going to do int rows equals input dot next int. Easy. Alright, and then we're going to do system.out.print line. And just to make this a little bit more easier to read here, bang, boom, okay. We're going to do system.out.print, okay. Enter number of stars. Stars. I spelled it right, I don't know why I did that. Okay, and then we're going to do int stars equals input dot next int. Easy? Yep. Okay. Now basically what I do with this input is we want to print some number of stars on an arbitrary number of rows depending on the user input. Now how can we do that? So we definitely need loops because it is going to be a repetitive sequence, so it's going to require iterations. So let's start with our first loop. For int I equals 1. Now while I is less than, now what comes after this less than is my max row. Alright, so it's going to be actually less than or equal to. So my max row, what is my max row? I don't know. That it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be dependent on the user's input. So over here we're going to put the variable that's going to hold that user's input, which is going to be rows. And after each iteration, we're going to increment our I value to move on to the next row. Alright, we got that part down. Now, we want to print a certain number of stars each row. How can we do that? So you can say basically we're populating a column in each row, right? So the stars, the rows are the rows, and the stars are basically how many stars do I want to print each row. So each row is going to have a certain amount of stars. So for example, it'll be like row 1 has, I don't know, 10 stars, right? Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. And then row 2, 1, 2, 3. I don't know, we don't want that space like that, but you know, so on and so forth. So how do I print this 3 stars? Now remember, we want to use loops. So if I do, I'm definitely going to need another loop because I'm going to be printing a certain number of stars in each row. Now I can put another loop inside here, and I'll give it int j equals 1. Now while j is less than how much? Now what comes after this is basically the number of columns I'm going to go out in that row, or basically the number of stars that I'm going to print. And we know that's going to be stars. And at each iteration, each time, I want to go ahead and move up one column. up until the max number of columns, which is basically the number of stars that I want to print in that row. I kind of confused myself there, so you guys are probably confused, but just let's just follow along here for a second. So I know that this is my number of rows, and this is going to be basically my number of columns. Now, an important thing to keep in mind about nested loops is once you're in the main loop, and if there's another loop inside, the innermost loop must finish first. What does that mean? Meaning when I go into this loop here, I've entered where I equals 1, and now I'm going to go in the second loop. So the second loop has to complete before the main loop can move on. Alright? So inner first and then outer. Alright. So when I'm in this inner loop, what do I want to do? I want to print a star. So we'll do system.out.println, and I want to print a star. Now, printing the stars close together is going to look kind of, you know, not that great. It's kind of close together. So let's put a space here. So it prints a space after each star. So now we can run our program. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run it. Okay, it's not running. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, enter number of rows. Alright, let's make it easy. Let's do 5 rows. And how many stars do I want to print in each row? Well, let's stick with 3. So, something weird happened here. Now, this doesn't look like what I wanted. It kind of printed 3 stars. 5 times, it looks like. But I don't want it like this. I want it in a straight line. Like, you know, as I displayed before, like that. So what happened here is that I did a system.out.println. Now what that's doing is after each time it prints this is printing a line, which I don't want. I just want to print the star and the space. But I do want to print a line after this prints 3 times. So right outside this loop, I'm going to put my line print, system.out.println, like so. And that'll basically, I don't want to put anything in here because I don't want to print a value, I just want to print the line. So that'll print a line after this loop finishes, and this loop will finish, you know, on 3 turns because that's what I'm going to enter. So let's run this again. Boom. Boom. Enter number of rows, okay? 5 rows, 3 stars. Alright, it printed only 2 this time. Now, why did it print 2? Now, if we take a look, it's pretty easy to tell. It printed 2 because I started J at 1, but I did while J is less than stars. So it only went up to 2. So I want to do actually J is less than or equal to. And let's run this one more time. Alright, and now I'm 100% certain that it'll print properly. 3 stars. 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was kind of important to kind of notice those debugging options there. So you want to be careful where you're printing a line and where you're not printing a line, and also with your less than or equal to or less than functions, and vice versa with the greater than or equal to. So these are basically nested loops. Now, nested loops are fairly important in terms of you know, when it comes to user input, is extremely important in case you want to like repeat a menu. You know, you want to keep the menu showing up after a user does something, or any kind of repetitive action like that. So, you know, I hope this wasn't too confusing. I tried to make it as easy as possible. The main thing to remember is when you go to nested loops, the inside finishes first and then the outside. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Our next tutorial is going to be on loops again, but we're going to work on printing shapes and stuff. Basically the pyramid problem, if you guys have heard of that. So I'll go ahead and I'll catch you guys next time. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you liked it a lot. And I'll catch you guys next time. I think I said that twice, so I'm looping my words. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now. Later.